Hello everybody and welcome back to the labs. I am Towsty and welcome to ResonantRise. Sorry about the menu. Well, we're still in our hallway, obviously. Still stuck in the hallway. I haven't quite made the move yet, but that's because I didn't actually expect to be having this time to record and would have just used the little time I had in between here to play, but I have more time than I anticipated, so sweet. And on top of that, there was a ResonantRise update. So we've now updated to the newest experimental version, which is at the time of recording 3.1.1.1.1 something like that. They have added a few new mods as options to the pack. One is Steve's add-ons, one is Advanced Generators, and one is Technomagi. Now, Technomagi, I looked at using in Karma at one point. I was going to try and add it to Karma and see, but there was a lot of crashes and stuff. So I'm really hoping it's working because it looked really, really, really cool. So we're going to look at that for sure. And then Advanced Generators is actually what we're going to try and work on today. I think another thing that's been added is Eureka, but that's not one that I added. That was defaultly added. I think it's actually a core mod for something, but it for the Buildcraft add-ons. Yeah, I don't really know where that came from, but this book was in my inventory. It's a really cool looking book. Just see if I can get out of, there you go. Boom, cool looking book, right? Buildcraft Editions, Engineer, Diary, cool, right? So a very neat looking book for sure. Good job on that GUI. And then Advanced Generators, right? So Advanced Generators, Steve's add-on, and Technomagi. Pretty excited. Now, this guy here should be done. Pretty much. Yeah, perfect. All right. So we're going to leave him there. Actually, we're going to pick him up because I don't want to forget him here or accidentally break him with a pick because I have done that before. So one thing that we need before we can really make the move the way I'd like to is some system of power gen that's a bit more reliable than what we're using right now. So I'm just going to take a guess here and say that I'm going to need a few different things. I don't have a clue how this works. I'm just going to assume to figure out what I need and go along the way. I'm pretty sure that I will need at the very least a fuel tank, probably, maybe not. Turbine power capacitor, fluid intake, HV emitter, turbine. I'm gonna need one of these for sure. Probably a flux generator is what I start with, and we'll go from there. What the advanced generator is kind of like BigReactors in the sense that it's a multi-block reactor thing. Oh, a bit lag there. That was weird. And the server is kind of still warming up from the updates, and particularly one of the major things that changes in this pack was, or in this update, was they removed mariculture, which meant a lot of world gen that Forge had to go through and fix for me and remove. So that happened. I did, in fact, upgrade the quarry like I had said I was going to, and the turbine size, so it is pumping away right now. So it'll be okay for power for a bit. I was out of coal, and that was kind of a problem. So, anyway, so BigReactors, Advanced Generators, they're kind of similar, except Advanced Generators, depending on what you put in it, has the option of producing RF or EU. And I'd say there's others, and I'm sure there are technically others, but because pretty much everything is compatible with RF, I just say RF and all of its friends. So that's what I'm going to work on today, and I will do a bit of research here, and I'll be back. All right, guys, we are back. So, yeah, looks like my cleanup job isn't quite done. So this is an advanced generator. This is a completely like open-ended modular generator. It doesn't matter what shape it is. What I've got going on, not all of this is necessary, but some of it is. So at the moment, it only generates 10 MJ per tick, which I may be wildly wrong here, but might be about 1,000 RF per tick. Maybe. I don't know. And that's with one turbine. So I don't know if there's a config option to change this into something that's not MJ, just because it's not really useful knowing how much MJ predict, in my opinion, we are producing. I don't even really think they have, doesn't really appear to have a big config file at all. Unless it's what it considers its README. What? Sorry. Anyways, so yeah, that happened. Then basically what happens here is, oh no, not even close to 1,000. 33. So our generator is set to always on. So we have our turbine controller. We have flux generator, which outputs the RF, power capacitor, turbine, and a fluid intake valve. Now, the fluid intake valve is necessary, the generator is necessary, the controller is necessary, and the turbine is necessary. This is not. This actually just increases its internal capacity by a whole heap. All right. So it is outputting RF here. So that's handy and everything. Here's the thing. This only operates on fluid fuels, it looks like. So in order for us to create this, we need to make rocket fuel. You can use oil, or you can use Buildcraft fuel, you can use forestry ethanol, you can use rocket fuel and firewater from Ender.io. I'm assuming there's others. For now, this is what we can do though, and this was the quickest and easiest. So using some sugar and some wheat and some water, I made hooch into here for gunpowder, and redstone equals firewater. Now, it should produce a good amount of RF. I mean, what I can do is I can add more turbines, and that will increase the consumption rate and the, I can make a few more of these guys, and the generation rate. So the thing I do like about this mod is it's just iron. Like, the whole crafting system is iron. So let's just add a couple more, because that's the iron that I already had crafted into the components, and I can just go plop plop. And this seems to have gone down. What the poop? Doesn't feel like it's gone down, but it does appear to have gone down. So maybe it just has to heat up. Peak fuel current production. It says it's maxed out, so I'm gonna go to a limb and say this isn't right, because it is generating quickly here. A lot more than 23, obviously. So this number, there's no way this number is right. Like, it just can't be. So here we're gonna fill up this 500,000 capacitor thingy. I'm gonna actually turn this off, because wait a minute. Why is this still going up? Stop your generating. Here we go. Turn off. And stop. I don't understand. So we're going to say active with signal. Hopefully it stops dumping this. Why are you generating? Anyways, so I'm going to pick all this up. I've got the infrastructure to use this. I'm at this point in time, I'm not a huge fan, just because I don't have a lot of the resources required for me to do it. As far as like to make the fuel or refine it. And so that's not great in my opinion. But what is really cool about it is pretty much everything for me to make rocket fuel is farmable. Like, It's all very farmable. So I don't really have to worry about not having enough, if that makes any sense. So I'm actually going to tear this down finally, get some blocks that I want to use. We'll put up as much of this as we can. Get some blocks that we want to use, and then move on over to our new area. What kind of stuff? I have a lot of basalt. All right, a lot of this stuff. I can smelt it, I guess. I don't really want to do that, but I guess I could. I also have a lot of cobble. Is there anything kind of nicer looking? I do have some stone, but it's not, you know, we're going to need that for what we're building our base out of. All right, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'll pick you up. You belong in there with that and that and that. All right. I got my research book back. I was really concerned that I actually lost my research, but I didn't. So I guess I'll pick you up. And you. Not needed. Okay. And I'll hold on to this for now. I'll put the chest in, but I'll hold on to this fuel for the moment. So yeah, I probably will end up making a big reactor for my main power, but because the resources for big reactors are finite, like you cannot craft yellow. Well, I mean, you can with magical crops. Everything I said about it being farmable does not include magical crops. So like the fact that big reactor or advanced generators is farmable, I am not talking about magical crops. It's not. I love magical crops, don't get me wrong, and I'll get into it for certain reasons, but not this one. All right. So what should I make our little hut out of? It's just going to be a small hovel. How about marble? 150 that, and if I run out of anything, I will use marbled cobblestone. Because why not? Do I have a chisel? I believe I lost my chisel in the great void death of yesterday or the day before, whatever that was. All right, here we go. Final pieces. All of my base in my pockets. This is great. Come on. When I updated the server, the TPS, just removing all those mariculture things for about 10 minutes, the TPS was about 1.5. So if you don't do server stuff, that is about way lower than it needs to be. The average TPS should be, stressing should be 20. Right now it's running a little low, and I do not know why. I'm hoping it's just world gen stuff, updated things. I'll have to investigate and take a look here. It's just the overworld, obviously, that's causing it. If you want a bit more of information, COFH TPS gives you specifically what generation would be causing it, but yeah, it just looks like it's actually not that bad. It's my network right now. It's causing a bit of problems. All right, well, I'm gonna go build us a little hovel, and we are gonna call it home, and that will be that. Sure, why don't I take these with me? All right, guys, I am gonna stop recording while I teleport over because it causes a lot of network lag. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. I had a little trouble moving over because I told you that there was an update and it removed mariculture. And so that creates a big problem when the server has to go through like all of these places, deleting the oysters and the extra sand and the limestone and the rutile, like all of this world gen. Mariculture has a ton of world gen. So it had to remove all that, and it basically does it the same way it does world gen. As you load those chunks in those areas, it will pull them out. At least that's what I've now begun to understand from being here. So when I came back to our new area here, to build our little hut. Wow, 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 wow. Don't know what that was. My TPS went down to like 1 again and stayed there for a very long time. But now we're back. And we have a little hut. And it's pretty. And it's wonderful. And there we go. And we're gonna go like so. Doop, 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 doop. And we're just putting the finishing touches on our hovel. This will not stay here very long. Don't worry. At least, I don't think it will. Not in charge of the building myself. Actually, I kind of want to go back to the old spot and get those lamps. You know what? No, forget that. Inverted. Let's keep this sort of bleach white look. So these are from Artifice, and they're basically the best like crafting recipe for these kinds of lamps that I've seen. So we're using quite clear glass. I'm really hoping those actually provide light. I can't wait for it to be nighttime. Quite clear glass from Ender.io, little circles, and hopefully this will... Oh boy, oh my goodness, I'm having so many issues putting stuff down. All right, and there we go. We got us a little place. I think I'm gonna take these. These are Carpenter's garage doors. Never used them before. Really like them. And I think I'm gonna take them and just move them to this side of the panel. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I wonder what happens if I hit these with the Carpenter's hammer. What kind of textures they change into. Because that's really where Carpenter's blocks comes alive, is in those kinds of, when you start to play with the textures a little bit. I know that they cause lags, and but too bad. I'm using them now. All right. Perfect. So we've moved. We got some power gen back online. Let's just rebuild our reactor really quick. Actually, I think what I'd like to do is take our conduit and go bloop and boop, and then we have an interface in here, I believe, and an ender chest and 2 speed upgrades. Don't want that there anymore. And we'll do this, and we'll say extract, insert. Wow. It's got a couple speed upgrades. Not sure why I pulled the extra utilities ones out. Let's put all this stuff back. Oh yeah, our bed. We can't forget our bed. It's going to have to go here for now, unfortunately. I probably won't be using that too much other than to set my spawn, I don't think. Alright, so we got stuff coming back in. Kind of. Maybe I will get out a transfer node. Just to give it a little help. Well, now that I've got this here, this little base set up, and I'm able to do a bit more work, I actually feel so much less claustrophobic already. I don't know what you guys felt like during my my adventures in figuring out my hallway base there, but it was rough for me. And well, I mean, as rough as this can be, I guess. I don't know why I put those in there. That's all right. And so it, yeah, it was a little strange, but that's all right. So we need this. Oh, I don't. This is for kickstarting. We're gonna need these, this, and very quickly, I will need to set up a water source. Don't know how I want to go about doing this in this area, in this little house here. What I'm actually thinking. TPS? It's dropping again. Man, every time I take a few steps further, it's gonna do this, so that's a little frustrating. Alrighty then, let's take a look at what it takes to make a saw. Start with a stone saw, see what happens. Can I cut these? Oh, man. I can make facades, but I cannot cut them. That is sad. Okay. So plan B is still going to be involved, me doing this. Now, these Tyrian blocks were not picked out by me. Reclaimer picked these out for our floor. And I didn't like them at first. I'm not like, actually, it's not entirely true. I didn't mind them at first. They just weren't like, there weren't a lot of good flooring options for the theme we were looking at, and this is what we kind of ended on, or decided on eventually. But ever since I've actually been walking around on them and putting them down, I have much appreciated them. But I do need to make a few more. So the Tyrian, which is fun to say, right? You gotta admit, fun to say. Where's my chisel gone? Man, when Backpack's integrated with inventory tweaks, I was so happy. I will never see that. That's fine. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do that. I know, it's just a hole in the floor, but bear with me. I've got an idea. Ugh, frame rate lag. Come on, wake up. I'm loving this garage door. It's awesome. And there we go. And then let's just do it with stone for now. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'll give it a quick cover, and then what I'll say, yeah, so there's an infinite water source that I can just walk over. It's kind of what I was hoping for. And then I know I had the reservoir, and I'll probably just make the reservoir visible as well, but it's gonna be a busy bee. So in the middle of our floor, I'll tear up our nice floor. I'm gonna throw down
Hey, wake up.
this. Oh, that was weird. All right, I'll be right back. Hello, we're back. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that random stop there. Once again, it has been almost a full day since we last chatted. I was waiting, when I was recording the last episode, I was waiting for a friend of mine to come on. We were going to try out Divinity 2, or sorry, Divinity Original Sin. And he just sort of hopped on TeamSpeak, and when I had all my stuff muted, and he poked me, and I was terrified by this random woman's voice telling me to wake up. So it was very strange. So we played Divinity Original Sin for a while, and that was awesome. So we're just taking out all of our ore. Our quarry has finished. Actually goes pretty quick. I'm really, really happy with the simplicity of that quarry. Like, it's awesome. Setting up the windmill's a little tedious, but other than that, it's pretty fantastic. We are going to look at a couple of things that I just remembered. The first one, let me do really quick, is from, there is a mod in here. It's just called Iridium mod. Don't really know what its function is. It can be used. It just made iridium, right? So, and solar panels uses iridium iron plates, which can be used from iridium ingots, or which from the iridium. So I think it's just an add-on for advanced solars, maybe. I don't know. So that happens. So if I generate new trunks, yeah. If there's any new trunks in the game, no. If I generate new chunks, that'll be there. You can see I've done a bit of work here. I had to put my tool forge back down because I added some redstone to this guy. So he's moving kind of quick because I needed to clear out some space and put down a few things. So check this out. Ba-da-da-da. Now, you may be wondering why such a big sugarcane farm, and especially considering, you know, sugarcane doesn't help cows at all. So can I say before I go into that, I love that these farms can be anywhere on any side. That makes me so happy. I love having these two things right together. In fact, I might try and move this guy down here and then put the bound. I don't know. I might, just for simplicity's sake. But for right now, what I've got going on is these guys are set. Why are they not extracting? And why have I no wheat? To check on that. Well, these should be fully automated, but clearly they're not. I've added an elevator that goes up to the roof, because why not? There's always spiders and things. Got some ore processing going, and if we come down here, I had to make another bridge stabilizer. Tried to go back to spawn, or to our old base. Bridge stabilizer was obviously dead. That didn't help. And do a few things. So I have expanded the wheat farm. I'm not going to warp back there right now, but basically the wheat farm, this map won't reflect it. This was the wheat farm. The wheat farm is basically all of this now. So it's a pretty large area, but Farmer Joe is still working it for us. Maybe not so well, but he is. So I expanded our reactor here. At first, I was really like, I don't know if I'm going to use it. They don't put out that much power because this thing here wasn't showing very much. Now, what this is showing, as far as I can tell, is the RF per tick that is being pulled from it. So this red, so you got green output, right? So red output is currently outputting 154 RF per tick, because that's actually what's in demand right now. Now, obviously we have a lot. So, but we're at a peak production of 80 MJ per tick, which, let me see. Should have looked this up earlier. But is quite a bit more RF, obviously, than that. Let's see. So MJ per tick to RF. So it's a 10-to-1 ratio. So RF converts 10 RF to 1 MJ. So 1 MJ per 10 RF. So we're at 800, I think, more than that. So 800 RF per tick right now. And that's really good for a very simple reactor. This is actually really, really cheap to set up. You just need a ton of iron. Fair warning, the recipe for the actual turbines is a little bugged. So you gotta, if you have Brewcraft and advanced reactors installed, or advanced generators like we do, then yeah, it'll be bugged. So what I was doing here is I've got our auto crafting station up here. It is full of sugar. Oh, wow, I didn't expect that. And if we look here, I'll just break this really quick. Whoop. I need a better pick. If we look here, we're pulling out wheat, sugarcane, redstone, and gunpowder from the interface, which I have set up to... what? Okay, that is obviously not... Fine, I'll go up. You guys could probably see that, though. Is keeping sugarcane, it's keeping wheat, it's keeping redstone and gunpowder in this buffer, in the interface block. So it's always going to be pulling that out. So that's great. Then the sugar and the redstone and the gunpowder come down here. The wheat and the sugar go here. The gunpowder and the redstone come here. Now, I have just realized something really, really stupid. And that would be my setup of this and it being on that instead of something else. I don't think I should have any problems with the cause of this. There we go. Okay. So, wheat is constantly being farmed, as is sugar. So we should have no problem producing hooch ever. Got lots of hooch. Now, hooch is going to be the one that's, rocket fuel is going to be the one that's a bit harder to maintain. But for gunpowder and redstone, we have a lot of redstone. Gunpowder is craftable, and we have a lot of the stuff that we need to craft it using niter, using sulfur and pulverized coal or charcoal. You can craft that. I don't know why I didn't just show it to you, but this is what I've been doing. So saltpeter or niter, which we got lots of, which you dig. Sulfur or pulverized coal or charcoal. So we got lots of that. That can almost, yeah. So that's what we've been doing to maintain our gunpowder production right now. And then that goes in here. That is actually used incredibly efficiently. It seems like this doesn't use that much rocket fuel. So I'm really happy. At first I was a little, but I've given it some time. I've watched it, and I'm really happy. I also added a few more capacitors, as you can see. So we're at 2.5 million MJ, which I didn't realize until this moment was MJ. So let's pull out our handy dandy calculator here. And let's do 2,510,000 times 10. Why did I do that? I can do some maths. So 25 million, obviously, RF. That's a lot. That's a lot more than I thought it would be. Now, I'm curious. I'm very curious. I was in the middle of making something when I started recording this. Actually, I had to do some lag busting. Still getting a bit of frame rate lag when I do very specific things. But it is getting better as I sort of learn more about and figure out some of the mods. It's definitely better than when we started, that's for sure. Oh wait, let me put this back down as well. I have a potion of night vision here. I'll explain in a moment. I did not make it. This is actually trash. Throw you away. Okay, so I was in the middle of making. I wanted to get into IC2 a little bit. To get the advanced ore processing going, try and get some more than just double. Ooh. I know what's going on. And I can't wait to get into the magic mods, but I told Reclaimer I'd wait on him to get started on a couple of those. So that'll be a little bit. Probably after Christmas we'll start that. But if you just search LV and hit space, you'll see the LV emitter. And this is the first thing that I can tack this onto the reactor and pull IC2 EU out of it. But I'm missing rubber. So I need to go on a hunt to find rubber. And I was about to do that when I was checking out the server and realized there was a teensy tiny bit of lag. So right now we're hitting 20 TPS, which is perfect. But it's actually it's a fraction below that. That's just all we can read from there. The reason being, though, is because of, well, what the reason for a lot of it was over here. This is areas that I had explored, and you can see how the ocean is kind of like pixely and kind of just a little jacked up right now. That's because when we updated, they removed mariculture. Now, mariculture added some blocks in the ocean that kelp and different things from Biomes of Plenty grew on. Different kinds of sand, different ocean materials. Well, that is all fine while mariculture is in the pack. When it gets removed, all those blocks that were a type of sand were usually surrounded by sand, which meant the actual vanilla sand all fell, which meant these large like towers of kelp broke and just dropped like sugarcane does, which meant that over here, floating in the ocean, there was these towers of kelp here. There was tons of it, and it wasn't that it was just floating on the floor. It was like where there were holes or like sandstone or something. So there was like, it's like when you go into bedrock and it's all kind of different varying levels. Sometimes you'll see cobblestone mixed into it, kind of a thing. There was trapped extra kelp down there. So thank the maker for Opis. That really helped get rid of a lot of that. So, but I had to do some leg busting, and I was kind of flying around down there in creative to figure out what was going wrong. And in order to see, I did give myself a diamond helmet of aqua affinity, which I will delete and go get my helmet back. And I also had to give myself that night vision potion. Ooh, our ender pearls already. So that I've taken care of that now. So other than the fact that it is evening and my internet's not great, the server is running fine, and my connection is happy as can be. It's a happy snowman. Couldn't really tell if that was mature. That was weird. So I'm trying to rebuild my ender pearl population. I'm not sure these will ever reproduce. I have to check the config. So far, they're not gaining me any positive net in seeds. So I'm going to go hunt for rubber, build that LV transmitter, come back, we'll look at that, and then we'll call the episode there. Well, guys, I just wanted to give you a little glimpse of what's going on here, in case you have updated, and I know this video will be out probably long before this, or long after people have resolved their issues with this, but if you're curious, right now, there's the TPS on the server is not great. It's sort of wildly fluctuating between that and like 5. Now, this is caused by me exploring chunks that have yet to be explored or that have been explored and used to have other items in the ocean. So, and the other thing with that is every time I explore a chunk, the server actively goes through the chunk and says, hey, get rid of all oysters, of all, all the things from mariculture, all the ancient sand, all this stuff that are no longer in the pack. So I was, it does say when you update to this version that you are highly recommended to restart your world, because there's most of the changes from 1.0.1 to 1.1.1 were downgrading COFH to a version that's not like uber buggy, and what was I gonna say? Oh, and removing or changing origin. And then there we go. Get rid of those and get rid of those. And then the other problem that happens when you're doing this exploring is it creates a lot of quote unquote falling blocks. So sand and gravel in the ocean bed that just start to fall. And when they do that, they create a lot of lag. There we go. So I've minimized a lot of the ones that I've explored so far. I'll have to go over here and see if these ones have been dealt with yet. But if you have Opis on your server, you can look at what's going on and do a bit of work to solve it. So I've just been able to delete some of those, and the TPS should return in a moment. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on things here, and there is still a lot of kelp and a lot of algae. And in particularly a lot of like coral and things as well that are starting to drop, which is a new issue altogether for me. I mean, it's so far it hasn't been a lot of the core or a lot of the coral, but just a lot of the sand and stuff like that. So it's kind of annoying. And another thing is, I remember when I originally started playing Tekkit, that it was very difficult for me to find rubber trees from IC2. And there we go. I got a few problems over here still. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. Yeah, and there were a few, there we go, it's starting to come back a little bit. There were a lot of problems with me finding rubber trees for a couple reasons. One, they were harder to find back then, and two, I don't know what they look like, to be completely honest. I have a clue what they look like. So that, once I learned what I was looking for with the little like spiky bit on the top, that was great, and that they were more common in swamps and things. Well, then I started playing on FTB and the Darrow 20 pack with MFR and stuff like that. And so I was able to find these trees and to use rubber from that as well. I mean, once the Ore Dictionary was started being used, and you could use MFR rubber for ICT rubber, stuff like that. So things became easier. Ooh, I don't think I've grabbed this meteor yet, and I'm gonna take a quick look at it while you guys are here. Of course, while I'm looking for a tree, I find a meteor. While I'm looking for a meteor, I actually did see rubber wood, but I haven't seen any since. Sorry about the lag. So, this reminds me of my Tekkit days. It's very, very difficult for me to find the rubber right now. Come on back. Come on back. Let's see what we got going on over here. Still a lot of dropped items. Still a lot of falling blocks. I wonder why that is. Well, I mean, I know why. I wish it would just not do it. So, if you do have meteor or mariculture in your pack, I highly recommend you keep it or never get rid of it. So there, I was able to get rid of a few more than there, and now we're back up to almost 20 TPS for now. So that's good. Sweet, more of these, because why not? My plan is to have several, and if I don't have to use blocks of iron to craft them, it's good on me. All right. So I'm going to keep on looking for our rubber trees, but yeah, it's been a real treat for me to kind of explore the world again, because I haven't had to do this type of exploring. I don't know if it's something that they've configured to be harder to find now. I mean, once you get a farm going, it doesn't really matter. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did make it harder to find on purpose, or if it's a result of having big trees installed. Forgive the lag, it is world gen. And if it is a result of having big trees installed, wow, there's a world hole there. That's fantastic. That's okay as long as I can find a couple. The other option I can do is, I'm pretty sure I can use glue. So I guess I could make like a horse farm. What biome is this? This is new. This is very new. So I guess I could make a horse farm, because you can use glue, I think, and melt that down into rubber. And eventually, if I can get enough rubber, then I can make a magical crops rubber farm if I have to. I mean, I'm going to set up a tree farm either way, so you might as well, if I can't do it, then I'll... What? Oh, this is from Archimedes. Is there a use of this? Oh, that was quick. Fuel. So yeah, Archimedes is back in, although I highly recommend you don't go to the dimension, the Archimedes dimension, because it is somewhat bugged. All right, keep exploring now. All right, so I've got a bit of resin. Finally, look at this. This is outrageous. Not this. Yeah, there we go. This is stupid. I walked all the way like this. Like I've been walking for so long. They're very hard to find. All right, so I need to borrow this. Now, cook into resin. I think I need to also put down my Steve's Factory cooker thingy just as a secondary furnace option, or at least put a chest on top of here that I can pull. That's probably actually what I'll do. I don't know why I didn't do that, to be honest. So we should have some rubber. Rubber? All right. So let's go back to our LV emitter. I'm really excited to see what happens when I attach this bad boy. And I don't rightly know. I don't think I actually made those cables. Shoot. I thought I was ready. Did I even make the plates? I did. Fantastic. All right. Getting the NEI lag again. I was getting it a couple days ago, and it's kind of went away, and now it's back. So annoying. All right, let's finish off the LV transmitter. Bada boom. Or transformer, whatever I just made. And that should be all for that. Let's hop on down here and just see what happens. I'm just so curious. I mean, like, for now, I'm actually just going to put it here. So let me reach in and grab. Oh, the lag right now is real. One of them, they're tin cables. Put a bit of rubber on that. There we go. And there we go. So I would be outputting EU. That's really cool. And they're separately controlled by redstone. I really like that. And I'm going to go on a limb and say it has to be on that block. So that's very cool. And I am... Oh, what is wrong with me? I'm so surprised that that doesn't crash me. I think that's all I gotta put this back downstairs. What? So, that means at least I do have an option for getting into some basic IC2 for some advanced ore processing before we get into mass producing our base, which is exciting. And then I think the next thing I really have to worry about is restarting the quarry. So before next time when we come back, I'll restart the quarry, get some more resources coming on in here. Nope, don't need you in there. You can go in there. Actually, I'll put the buckets in here too. I don't need these. And yeah, that is exciting. I've got a lot of power. Crazy amount of power, actually. I've been able to minimize the TPS problems everywhere I've explored to the point where I'm actually exploring new chunks, and it won't happen in new chunks because they would have never generated the other blocks that are now disappearing. And I do need to get into some solarium. I want to get a mob spawner going for gunpowder and a couple different things. So I've got a bit of work to do with Ender.io, and I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to do off camera. I might just set it up and then show it off and work on the next project. I'm a little wary to build it too much above ground. I think what I have to do next... Oh yeah, here's my rubber trees. Is this will be the center of our first dome. So we have a series of domes, and this is going to be the first one. So I'm going to probably dig... Oh no, did I just change it? Yes, I did. Okay, I changed that one. There we go. So this will be our dome. I'm going to probably dig underneath this block here. In fact, just for reference sake, I'm going to get a thing of glowstone or something of some sort of significance that marks where that block belongs in case it ever breaks or gets exploded. So let's do obsidian, actually. Just put a thing of obsidian down here just for a bit of protection so we know where the center of this area is going to be. And we're going to make our first little dome biome here. But I'll dig down underneath here and kind of create a temporary place for power gen and ore processing. Our power gen will be underground here, I believe. I think. We haven't quite talked about that too much. And once that's good to go, Well, then I should be able to really get going on some tech and some magic and get prepared for some really cool Thaumic stuff that I want to do. So, until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, give me a thumbs up or subscribe. It really does help. Leave me a comment or anything like that. Just let me know what you guys think of the series so far. Look at that. It's like two snakes kissing or something, making a heart. That's a really neat treat. That's the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought. Hang up your lab coats on the way out, and I'll see you next time. Deuces!